Happy Mother's Day. Today is Mother's Day, and I hope you have a wonderful Mother's Day and that you also, together with your child, the children or not, and and that you all also get a chance to evaluate whatever strategy you choose to raise your child. And this morning I got a nice message from my son. He lives abroad, and I got a beautiful message from him, and in which he says that if he get 10 lives, no, not 10, 1,000 lives, each one of those lives he would choose me as his mom. And I really, really, really love that. I love that. I was kind of I was very happy to hear that. And when I got the message, I started thinking on the way I raised him. And in the beginning, actually before his puberty, I used the information that I had, the experience that I had from the persons around me and from my parent, my own education. I used that information and experience to raise my child. But with that experience, with that strategy, I didn't really get a very good bond with my child. So I started, I think, around his puberty, I think after 12. After that, he was 12. I started to to incorporate that wish to have a good bond with my child into my prayers. And it was more in a way of affirmations, everyday affirmation. I affirm that I have a good bond with my child. Even in my how you call it, that anyway, that picture thing that I made with all of my desires in it, I had a picture dedicated to the relationship between me and my child. So a son, yeah, I have a son, and he is grown up already. So I I affirm every day. I affirm a good bond, and the things, the information, that I've got by doing that affirmation, the information that I've got from my intuition, I implemented it. And that helped me a lot to get a better bond with my child. It sometimes, for example, certain things I shouldn't have should not have. I was recommended not to participate, to let him solve it. So that's what I did. And other times, for example, one time he was living with his father. He lived like a year or so with his father in St. Martin, the island of St. Martin. He told me he was coming. He wanted to come back. And I said, I don't know what to do. I went to meditate, and then I got an idea to let him live on himself. I think around that time he was, I don't know, I think 15, 14, 15. Yes, yes, yes. Let me see, 14, 15 years. Or maybe older. I don't know. Anyway, past puberty. No, I think older. I think more 17, 18. Yes. Anyway, he came back, and I helped him to go live on himself. To go live somewhere else, and they call it to live like in a room. And I guided him. He was living in a room and he went to work, but I guided him all the way through that. It was like living with guidance, and not with me, but with somebody else. and hire a room by somebody else, by an acquaintance, by the way. And he lived over there, and he went out, he made friends, he did his own thing, like independence living. And that was a very good idea that I got by my intuition, by God, from God. And it was a good preparation for him to go live abroad afterwards. Abroad, I mean, to in Europe afterwards. So that's what I mean with incorporate your decisions, especially big decisions. Incorporate and ask for help from God, because you will get very good ideas that fit very good into the child purpose also, and the child's purpose of what he want to accomplish, and also within his life, and also something else. I educated my child based on the things that he wanted to achieve, not on the things that I wanted. For example, I he wanted, no, but I had certain like basic things that must be incorporated. For example, exercise. My basic point was we have to exercise. He can choose whatever sport or whatever that he wants. He chooses water polo, but that's his thing. But he tried a lot of other sports, but water polo was the one that he really really liked. So that's the way it went. Sport was important. Sport must be incorporated in his education, in his education. So he chooses which sport. Another thing was also he must have a basic education. It doesn't have to be university, but it must be a basic education, because he must be able to learn different languages. Those kind of things will always help you when you go abroad, or whenever you go. Okay, he loved English, so it was easier for him to learn English and the other things in English. But those were my important points. And actually eating healthy also, those are the things that I gave him. And then he made the decisions around that. So that's the way we went about it. His education, I made some basic things that I think are important, and he was the one choosing how to accomplish it. And that's the way we did it, kind of together. And then he was the one in charge of his life, choosing how to go further. And then I was the one helping alongside that to reach those goals, until he was at a point that he went all the way abroad, went to live in Europe. And then he did it all by himself. And by doing that, that was actually the ideas that I got from incorporated what I wanted into my prayer. That helped me also to get a better bond between me and my child. So this is actually what I wanted to give to you, and for you to think about it, maybe, and maybe implement it, part of it or not, and at least for you to think on how you're raising your children, and how the best to do that. Because I find a good bond is important. Think about it, and then let me know what you think.